Hello and welcome to Reality TV Cringe. I am one of your hosts, Delia, here with my real tight homegirl and my daughter-in-law, Beatrice.
That's me.
Actually, you have your anniversary to my daughter tomorrow?
8 years tomorrow.
Wow.
I know.
8 years. So you made it over that 7-year hump.
Yes,
That's when they say people start getting that itch.
Yeah, that didn't happen to us.
No
I would have
itch.
beat your daughter.
That's okay, good.
Yeah.
Because we can't lose you, Beatrice. You're part of this family.
You're stuck with me.
Thank God. We are here to talk sister wives. And as you may or may not know, we are currently in a rewind vibe.
Yeah.
We are recapping season 6, the season of the Cul-de-Sac.
Yes.
And the season of my sister wife's closet.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into it, we just want to issue you a disclaimer. Please hide your wife and hide your kids. This is a politically incorrect podcast. We are very vulgar. I try not to be, but I am.
Please.
I am. And we have stupid opinions and we just like to kiki and have fun.
Yeah.
So if you're sensitive,
Go away, you little diaper baby.
wow. You might want to find yourself another dumpster. But if you're ready to move into the cul-de-sac by Christmas time, welcome to this dumpster.
And if you like what we do over here, please be sure to follow us on Instagram at Reality TV Cringe and join us on Patreon, patreon.com/realitytvcringe. We got ad-free episodes, uncensored videos, and a ton of bonus content.
A lot of content.
A lot.
Now, if you are watching on YouTube, please do not forget to like and comment and share and subscribe. And just a word about sharing. All you have to do is copy the link.
That's it.
You don't actually have to share it with anybody.
You don't have to send it to anyone.
But YouTube is like, oh my God, that video is so great. Somebody's sharing it. So let's boost them in the algo.
Yeah, it's all you got to do.
So if you could share it and if you could make sure to subscribe,
please,
so that we can make it to 5,000 subscribers.
We are at 4.94.
Oh my God, we're so close.
It's so close.
I can taste it.
Just edging up there.
I taste it. It tastes so good in the dumpster. So help us to get to 5,000.
Please and
Thank
thanks.
you in advance. All right, do we have any hot goss or any comments that anybody left that we want to discuss with the general pop? The gen pop?
Before recording this, I was telling her about how we got a comment. Because I check all the comments. She doesn't read all of them. After a little bit, she's like, peace
I'm out.
But I'm checking all the comments because I'm crazy. And so I was reading late at night the other night. Somebody had left a really raving comment about how beautiful Delia was.
What?
And I was telling her about it, but I can't find the comment anymore. But somebody was saying, oh my God, Delia, I can't believe you're Beatrice's mother-in-law and you have no line on your face. Do you have any tips and tricks? Because it's too late for me, but you're so beautiful.
Oh my God, I feel seen.
Yeah.
I feel seen in this moment.
Yeah.
I do want to acknowledge that camera's very far away, though. And if you follow us on Patreon, you've got some close-ups, and maybe you can see a little something on my face, but not a lot, honestly.
No, you still look very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, I was born and raised in Hawaii, and we don't have to go all the way back there, but when I turned 20 years old, I stopped going in the sun.
Good, yeah.
And I started to use sunscreen. Now, keep in mind, I was born in the 60s.
Yeah.
I was born in the 60s. And in the 60s, 70s, and even in the 80s, in Hawaii, you did not wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
You wore coconut oil.
Oh God! So you were literally baking.
What were we were watching? The Gypsy Sisters.
Yeah, motor oil.
They were using motor oil.
Yeah.
Kind of those same vibes.
Oh my
That's
God.
what we used back in the day. But I stopped, and I started using sunscreen, and I moisturized all the time.
Yeah.
And then I got a little bit of.
What?
Just a little bit.
Well,
I mean, I've talked about it on Patreon, but there have been some things that I have done to my body and to my face.
Yeah.
And I think it turned out great.
Yeah, it did.
So whoever that mystery commenter is, thank you for noticing I try so hard. And I feel really special.
I'm really glad.
Yeah. So thanks for sharing that. You didn't have to. I mean, what a surprise.
I have to find the comment, though, so she can frame it and put it up.
Well, I want to post it as a community note on YouTube and on Patreon.
Post it everywhere.
Yeah,
Should I post it on our Instagram?
Post it over my mantle. in my house on our Instagram. Absolutely. Find the damn comment,
I will
Beatrice.
find it. Damn.
Anyway, back to season 6, episode 4 of Sister Wives, entitled
The Odd Wife Out,
Ooh.
aka Meri.
Sorry, Meri. Sorry about it.
I'm not sorry. You did it to yourself.
Indeed. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, we start off with a little brief scene where they're doing a landscape walkthrough. The houses are pretty much finalized at this point. They got all of their beautiful landscaping of dead rocks and ugly plants because they're in Vegas and nothing lives.
There's no water.
No, there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
And all of the wives are super excited because now it's starting to feel real. It's a real big deal. And Robyn in particular is really excited because she had to forego some things in her house to get a big, large patio.
Somehow I doubt it.
Yeah.
Somehow I doubt it. I stopped it when I was watching it. I'm like, I just feel like she probably mentioned to Cody, you know, I could go without the extra this or the extra that. And Cody's like, no, baby,
No,
absolutely
get you
not.
want.
You get a pantry, you get a 5th bedroom, and you're going to get this beautiful concrete patio.
Yep.
It's all yours.
And she gets like the biggest view. Do the other wives get all of that view?
I don't know.
Because they showed it and I don't know why, but this episode in Discovery Plus for me was all distorted.
Yeah, like the contrast was off. It was very odd.
I thought it was my TV at first. I'm like, is my TV fucking
No,
dying?
I think it was everybody.
It was just TLC. But I mean, she's got this beautiful view. She's got this big
beautiful
ass
views.
Well, I mean,
if you like moonscape, if you like post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear warscape.
Some people love desert landscapes.
Okay, I can't do deserts. I don't know. Like if you catch me driving through a desert,
I know.
Like my vibe immediately plummets. Maybe it's because I'm a water baby. Maybe it's because I was born in the islands, but I don't like a desert. No offense. I know you love Sedona.
Well, yeah.
And it's okay.
When we moved to Arizona, that was the first thing you said. You're like, oh my God, there's these dead mountains out here.
Well, I warned you before you went.
I know.
Because you wanted to land in Sedona.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, try to get as close to Sedona as possible. Try not to land in Phoenix because those mountains are dead, honey. Those are dead black mountains. And you're like, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. And like
Let me live my dream.
1 month into your move, my
It was
daughter
bad.
calls in tears and she's like, the mountains are dead, Mom. I'm like, oh, my poor lesbian baby.
I know.
It's going to be okay.
And it was so fucking hot. We moved in the middle of June in 2018.
Anyway, back to Vegas. I just feel it's just naturally, it's not my vibe. But if they're happy, I'm still not happy.
Yeah. And I mean, the landscaping looked like shit in my personal opinion. But you know what? They're happy. They have their walkthrough. Christine's like super in love with her kitchen. She's talking about it like it's the love of her life, which I can relate to. I would love a big ass kitchen like that. And then we have Christine and Robyn packing in their houses with their kids and stuff. We see little baby Isabel make a comment about how she hasn't seen Cody very often, how they're really excited to be back in the cul-de-sac where Cody can just walk over to their house and they can see their dad more often.
Newsflash. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it won't happen at all.
Did you notice in that scene, though, when Christine is wrangling her kids and getting them to pack, she goes up to McKelty and she's like, so what are you doing? And McKelty says something like, well, I thought I would go and take a nap. And Christine like immediately shouts at her.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely not. Every time you put on those headphones or something, it changes who you are. Like, I'm just like, God.
I know.
Chill out with McKelty. And McKelty's like, I'm just joking, Mom.
I know. Calm down.
But the way Christine just jumped on her really does sort of underscore how McKelty was the black sheep.
100%. Yeah. And how Christine probably had a tendency to take out her stress a little bit on the kids. And then Robyn, same kind of thing, because she starts yelling at her kids later in the episode to pack for Montana, and she's kind of got the same vibe. But anyway, we go over to Robyn's house where she's packing, and her house is a fucking mess. I couldn't help but notice. I'm going to judge it a little bit. And then Robyn talks about how the kids are going to go see their biological dad in Montana, and then she's also going to change her last name to Brown, and she's going to gift that to Cody for Christmas this year.
Right. I thought that was interesting because we got a call on SpeakPipe last week from somebody who was absolutely hilarious, who said that Robyn was kind of being mysterious about where she was going.
Yeah.
But she actually does say we're going to see the bio dad up in Montana. And so we know that that's still something that's going on. She doesn't seem happy about it, but
No.
she is getting away with Cody because Cody's going to be traveling with her right around the time that other people are getting the keys to their house in the cul-de-sac and right around the holidays.
Yeah.
She's stealing away with Cody. And I'm just like, oh,
convenient.
it is a little convenient.
Yeah. And I also noticed that at this time, Robyn was calling Cody dad to the kids,
Mm-hmm.
but then says that they're going to see their biological dad. I'm like, that's pretty dubious. Like, why are you having your kids call Cody dad? I mean, I know like Solomon's a baby at this point, so he's not really speaking or anything. I get that Solomon is Cody's biological kid, but the other kids, I'm like, they still have their other dad, though. I don't know. I thought it was a little odd.
Well, I think this just validates that from the very beginning, Robyn was on a campaign to alienate and isolate her children from David Jessup, their biological father. And I don't know, like if David had any money at the time or any resources at the time, he could have used some of this footage to sort of prove that up legally that she was alienating him from his children. But he obviously doesn't end up doing that. And he ends up giving up his parental rights. But you can see that this is what Robyn wants to happen. She's already grooming these kids. And of course, I mean, grooming in the way of like, and training. She's training these kids to see Cody a certain way and to see their bio dad a certain way. And just heads up, if the guy is abusive and awful and terrible, I can see how you would be happy that your children have a healthy role model in their life.
Of course.
And you would like them to align with that person. But if their bio dad is not, and if their bio dad like made some mistakes just like you did, Robyn, and you guys divorced and it was unfortunate, like this isn't good for the children.
Exactly.
Like when I divorced my second husband, your wife's father, it was very important to me to always at least seem unified with him for my daughter. And if he wanted something for my daughter, even though he lived in a different state, I tried to do that. For example, he did not want my daughter to work while she was in high school. He wanted her to just spend all of her time with homework and with her interests, and that's it. And so I thought, well, you should get a job. I mean, I was working when I was 15, 16, 17. It was a good experience for me. But because her dad didn't want that, that is what we ended up doing. And it was just really important to me that I always try and preserve any connection she had with him, even though he did not fuck with me. He did not like me. He wouldn't even talk to me.
Right.
It didn't change what I did on the other end.
Right.
And it's just sad to see moms and dads who do that to the other spouse. But honestly, I don't know David Jessup. I don't know the history of David Jessup. It just, in these moments, it feels sad.
Yeah, I agree completely, especially with my own background with this kind of stuff. We won't get into it. I won't trauma dump. But yeah, I'm side-eyeing Robyn's intentions here by calling Cody their father when they're going to go visit their actual father in Montana. Weird.
Well, I mean, and I'm sorry, but if I also may say this, you can just see that Robyn has never lived like this in her life.
No way.
She's never had access to a huge mansion in a cul-de-sac. She's never had access to nice cars, nice things, nice clothes at all.
Right.
And so she would want to hold on as hard as she could to this man and to this family so that her kids can have this, even if it meant alienating them from their bio dad. It's not right, but you can really see, can't you feel that?
Yeah,
She's just like, oh my God, I can't believe we're finally moving into a house.
Yeah, I can. Ew. But still makes me grossed out, honestly.
Opportunistic.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have Cody at Janelle's house, and this is where they bring up the conversation of getting a new bed because they're making their really sad, depressing bed. And Cody's like, man, this bed fucking sucks. It stinks. Not literally, but it just stinks.
Right.
And you see it like Janelle pulls up the sheets and it's two fucking twin beds like stapled together and they're all stained and decrepit. And Janelle's like, yeah, we've had this for 10 years. Maybe it's time for a new bed. And Cody's like, yeah, let's go and do that. And then they go and head to the mattress store. And Cody kind of talks about Janelle and his relationship, how they find love and romance in very pragmatic things. And that in the times that they do get romantic, it's a little awkward. But when they're at the mattress store, he's like, you know what? But I don't feel awkward here. It's really great. I'm like really connecting with her while we're laying on these mattresses. It's really awesome.
Yeah, what I think Cody is talking about, though, is meeting her where she lives. Like, Janelle is a very pragmatic person. She's a very earthy person. She's a very home and hearth and Taurian sister person.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cody kind of meets her where she is and does things with her that she likes because she's not a real fancy person. She doesn't need to be taken to the best restaurant. She doesn't need to be taken on the best trip. She likes to have a bed. She likes to have a home. She likes to provide a space for her kids. That is what is very meaningful for her. And so they're able to kind of find the romance doing that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I relate to that. Like when my husband and I go out and we shop for furniture or we're doing something for the home or for the yard, like we vibe on that. Like if we're planting trees and stuff, it is kind of romantic because we're doing it together and we love it.
Sure. But at the same time, though, like with that Taurian instinct, don't you also like being treated out, like going to a date every now and then, or like having a little bit of nice things? Like to me, when they go and shop for the mattress, Cody's like, yeah, so this new bedroom set is going to be our birthday gifts, our Christmas gifts, and our anniversary gift, our 20th anniversary gift, by the way.
20th?
Yes, for the entire year.
Well, but Janelle agreed to that.
I know,
and
but
that's just fine for Janelle.
But Janelle also, in all of these other earlier seasons, and even all the way up into season 19, is somebody that just compromises for the betterment of everybody else. Like, she sacrifices so much because she's working for everybody.
But I think she's legitimately happy with it, though.
know.
It's not like she has an aspiration for something more. Like, she always took a little bit less, but she was fine with it. As long as you didn't fuck with her kids, she was no problem with it.
I guess. Or maybe she was made to be fine with that. I don't know. That was just kind of my vibe with it. I'm just like, man, like you can't even like take her out on a trip though for her 20th anniversary.
I don't want to go on a trip. I don't want to go to a restaurant where I have to dress up. I would rather do 100 other things than to do that. I do like nice things.
Yeah.
I don't want to go and shop for them, though. I don't want to leave my house ever. I don't want to talk to other people. I don't want to associate with anybody.
I guess.
Or any place.
I don't know. I just felt like Janelle got gypped. That's just my opinion. Like, maybe she's happy with it. I just feel like you couldn't have gotten her some flowers, though. Or, like, you couldn't have gotten her, like, a little gift. Like, you just bought a new bed set, and then that's going to be the gifts for all of her shit all year. It would have been one thing if it was like just an anniversary gift and then she got something for her birthday or she got a little something for Christmas.
Yeah, but they don't have the money, and it's actually Janelle that suggests the layaway plan. Like, I don't know. I think that this is just where they are right now. And even though they're moving into the cul-de-sac into what, we would call McMansions, I don't think there's a lot of fluidity. They don't have a lot of money. And we kind of see that with Cody surprising her later in this episode by not doing the layaway and getting the bed for her just to surprise her on Christmas, which, I mean, is what he can do in that moment and was very sweet. And I think was, again, meaningful for Janelle. Yeah, you want more for people, but if they don't care and they don't want it for themselves, like, who cares?
Then who cares? Yeah. I know. That was my vibe through this whole episode because I'm just like, okay, really, man? And like, you don't have the money because we're spending it on all of these big ass houses and your little sports car and like Robyn's fake nails and her jewelry and like all this stuff. It's like we're putting money everywhere else. We're not really prioritizing Janelle or any of the other wives. That was just kind of my vibe.
Well, anyway. I was more interested when he referenced their intimate time because
being awkward, right?
Yeah, that's really rare for them to talk about that. I mean, maybe in the later episodes, I mean, seasons like season 18, season 19, you've got Janelle kind of alluding to the fact that there was no problem in the bedroom between her and Cody. But to see him refer to their intimacy is awkward because they are so pragmatic. Yeah. Pragmatic, almost like brother and sister.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder what that's like.
I know. Well, and didn't they have like a renaissance in Vegas with their sexual life?
Yeah. So
maybe it gets better.
I thought it was Cul-de-Sac Vegas. I don't know that it was Rental House Vegas. So I think we're about to enter the sexual renaissance of Janelle and Cody, and we'll be able to observe and see if we notice a vibe shift.
Well, they're breaking in that new bed frame.
I guess.
No,
is it a full bed? It's not.
I don't know. It looks kind of small.
It's not even a king.
I know.
I don't even know that it's a queen.
I don't know. It looks kind of like a double or a full.
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
but
God.
I'm just going to make like a really unhinged, crazy comment though. Okay. Like when we were at the mattress shop and they were laying on the beds, did you look at their feet?
No.
Janelle's feet were black, dude.
Shut up.
They were so dirty. And then
What?
Cody was wearing his dirty ass socks. And they were both putting their nasty ass feet on these mattresses at the mattress store.
No,
I'm
I did
sorry.
not notice that at all.
I did, yeah.
Why would Janelle have black feet?
I don't know. I don't know if
She's walking around her house, maybe barefoot.
But I'm like, I would be so embarrassed.
Yeah.
If feet were black on the show. But yeah, I just noticed that. I don't know if anybody else noticed that when they rewatched it, but yeah. Yikes. Anyway, so then they go and get their bed, and Janelle's really happy about it. And then we have like a brief scene of Robyn and Cody doing a full walkthrough through their house, and Robyn and Cody are just infatuated with each other. I mean, she makes a comment about cooking in her double ovens, and
she refers to it as convection ovens. She's not even pointing out that it's a double oven, and she's talking about how she can cook 4 things at once, and I'm like, girl, it's not because it's a convection oven. And does it all require the same temperature? Like, she's so dumb. And here again, you can tell she's never really had nice things. And so she's trying to talk about it as if she's an expert on it, but she's clueless.
Yeah.
But it's kind of sweet too, because she's very excited.
Yeah, she is very excited. And then Cody makes a comment being like, you're too beautiful. You don't even need to cook. Right. And then they like make out in front of the builders and stuff. And I'm just like, wow, man.
Yeah.
The disparity between all the other wives and him and Robyn is just so crazy. And it's like, I want to be happy for them that they found each other and that they are genuinely in love, but I just fucking hate them so much. So when I see them being like all happy like this, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah, because of the duplicity and the lies and the clandestine stuff that they do behind the scenes that they lie about. So of course we hate them, but I can see in these moments, and I'm just going to say, I can see like an innocent love between these two. Totally. They are both sprung for one another, and there's something sweet about that. But just how toxic and dark and evil this turns over time and ends up being weaponized to hurt children and women. I mean, obviously, it ends up bad.
Yeah, very, very bad. And then we have a scene where the whole family is gathered at Meri's to make that joint mission statement for the family, and I'm bored.
Yeah, I'm bored too. They refer back to a visit and a little vacation they took with the Dargers, that allegedly very abusive, toxic masculinity dude and his weird wives.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get the Browns to share a kitchen back then. And also we're telling them about the mission statement that they made for their own family. And so, of course, the Browns thought that this would be great content for TLC. That's an episode that they could do. And now they're pretending that they're interested in a mission statement.
Yeah. And Janelle makes a comment on the couch and says that this is very tedious. And I thought that was hilarious because she's like, why are we even doing this? This is dumb.
Yeah, because they're meeting and Christine is orchestrating the whole thing and asking the kids to write down their favorite things, what they want, what they don't want. And Janelle is bored and I'm bored.
Yep.
And I've checked out. I've gone astral. I'm in another dimension.
Yep. Me too. And then Cody makes a stupid comment at the end of this where he's like, yeah, 10 to 13 years ago, I felt like I was a failure and I was just a fireman putting out all of these fires in our family. And now I really want to change that and be an architect and build my family up. And I'm like, wow, this aged like milk, dude. Because you didn't do that at all.
No. And I think a couple of episodes ago, you and I talked about how they were drinking from a fire hose for the most part. Like they weren't intentional in the way they were crafting their marriages and the way that they were bringing up their children. They're constantly moving. They're uprooting. They're not thinking about what they want to build long term.
Yeah.
And so it feels like Cody gets that here, and maybe Robyn gets that, because Robyn strikes me as one of those women who's like into manifestation.
Oh, yeah.
And like visualization and the law of attraction.
Right.
I can kind of feel that Christine as well. So maybe they're talking in those terms right about now and thinking about the lives they want to create. It's just sad though, because they end up only living in these homes for like 5 years before they impulsively uproot again and move the family to Flagstaff. And there was a scene here where they were talking about Hunter.
Yeah.
And how difficult it was. And Janelle even cries on the couch. She's like, I don't even want to talk about this. It was so difficult. But when they moved from Lehigh to Vegas, Hunter fell into a depression and he didn't even want to participate with the family or life. Like he was completely checked out. But Hunter has come around. He's happy. He's part of his high school. He's wrestling. He's doing very, very well. But then in 5 years, you're going to turn around and do the same damn thing to Gabe.
Yep.
You're going to uproot him. You're going to take him to Flagstaff. You're going to hurl him into a depression. And then COVID hits.
Yep.
Like you're constantly doing this to your children.
I know. It's so fucked up. And it makes me so upset as somebody who moved around a lot as a kid. Like that shit was so traumatic. And I felt like my parents didn't give a fuck that we had to uproot our lives literally every single year for no fucking reason. And it just bothers me because Janelle is breaking down talking about her kids because it deeply affects her. And she seems like the only one that's like really affected and troubled by the fact that she did this to her kids. And she did it because all of the other adults did it and the whole family does it. So she's like, gotta go along with it. But like, holy shit, just knowing that they did all of this work to get into the cul-de-sac homes only to just leave it again and then separate again and then ultimately destroy their family in Flagstaff is just wild to see.
I think this really speaks to how some people like focus on outward things in order to get some inner peace. Like they have the perfect situation here in Vegas. They've got this cul-de-sac. They are all together as a family. Cody can spend time with everybody equally if he wants to. Like it's a perfect situation. But because he doesn't do any actual inner work, because nobody's getting therapy, because nobody is looking at their impulses and their urges to move around, to change, or urges for chaos, like they constantly succumb to it. And then they say, well, this is what we need to do though. We've got to do it because, you know, this is a harmful situation. This is not a safe situation. And boom, now we're leaving Lehigh going to Vegas. And then we go to Vegas to Flagstaff. And it's just like, deal with your shit though.
For real.
Ask yourself, why do I feel the need to constantly change in this way?
Exactly.
Why do I feel the need to put my children through all of this trauma? To what end?
Right.
Like, but they never actually get to the point where they ask themselves those questions.
No, they never do because they can't reflect. They can't like look at their own lives and look at their shit. So they're just going to keep doing it. I feel like Cody and Robyn, especially, like now that they're in that $2.1 million mansion, I'm like, why'd you even have to move? Like, why'd you even have to get a bigger house? It's just a band-aid to put on the fact that they destroyed their family and have caused irreparable harm, and now they're in this big mansion. They're going to feel better about themselves until they ultimately can't afford it.
And it's also like what they think they're projecting to the world, but also to the rest of the family. Like, well, you can come for us, you can hate us, you can go no contact with us, but look at how we're living over here with our Mercedes and our Lexus and our new mansion. They don't need it. They could stay in the McMansion because for all intents and purposes, Aurora, Brianna, Dayton should be out of that house, and they're going to leave the house here shortly. Now you're going to have 2 kids in a huge freaking home. The McMansion would be too big for everybody.
Oh, for sure.
But now you're going to move to an even bigger home with just your 2 little kids. For what? What are you searching for? What are you trying to shove down into your inner beings that you can feel like you're a worthwhile person? And Cody actually talks a little bit about that in this episode when he does say how things were really hard and he didn't feel like he was a good provider. I'm extrapolating and I'm paraphrasing. I'm kind of getting to the heart of what I think he was trying to say. Like, it sounds like he wasn't working. It sounds like he wasn't providing. It sounds like they were living in a level of poverty, and that was something that was shameful to him. And now things are starting to change because they do have funds, they have resources, and so they're becoming the architect. But for a very long time, he felt less than. And that's because on some level, he was less than.
For sure.
You made a bunch of dumb decisions to be a polygamist and take on all these wives and have all of these kids. And how are you supposed to manage that? You can't.
No, yeah. I mean, they were living in a fucking trailer. Like, all of them were living in like a tiny little single wide.
My God.
I literally can't even imagine. So yeah, like I bet he does feel some shame, but like fucking deal with that, dude.
Right.
Go to fucking therapy instead of overcompensating because now you just look even dumber.
Do Mormons not go to therapy? Like, is that not a thing?
I don't know. Actually, I know they don't do the doctors and stuff. They go to chiropractors and things like that.
I thought those were Christian Scientists.
I don't know. No, remember, like
Mormons go to doctors.
No, in the earlier episodes, they went to chiropractors and stuff.
But that was polygamist because and they went to a chiropractor because the chiropractor was polygamist friendly. I think that they still go to doctors.
I would hope. Well, regular Mormons,
but I mean, you never hear them talk about therapy.
No, yeah. I don't know.
But in like charismatic Christian churches, the churches we came up in, like if you wanted therapy, it was typically with the pastor and his wife.
Oh.
If it was like marriage counseling, or you met with the pastor, if it was individual counseling, which is obviously shitty.
Yeah.
But we were never encouraged to get actual therapy.
Wow. It could also be a generational thing too. Like, I mean, no offense, but Gen Xers and stuff tend to be kind of resistant to it. Not you, but like
I've been in therapy since my 20s.
I know, obviously.
In and out of therapy.
Yeah,
so.
But a lot of other Gen Xers I know were like, oh, I don't want to go to therapy. I hate therapy. I don't need help.
I feel like we're the ones that popularized therapy, honestly. We were born of baby boomers and the silent generation.
And they were fucked up.
Silent generation especially. Talk about some fucked up people. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of people I knew growing up, growing up as a child, but like 20s, 30s, 40s, they were in therapy.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Not the people I knew.
No, maybe not your family. I don't know.
Yeah. But maybe I'm an outlier though. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. And then we have a scene where Cody and Meri do their house walkthrough, and Mary's bitch ass starts immediately critiquing the smallest little things. She starts off with the lamps above the fucking kitchen island and how they're not level. And then it's the fucking mantle above the fireplace is not level. And then you see other little scenes where she's like checking the blinds and she's looking at the corners and everything. And she's nitpicking all of this shit. And I'm just like, Meri, this is why your house is not ready.
Hashtag Team Meri.
What?
Hashtag Team Meri.
Oh
First
my
and
God.
foremost, she's paying
Such an earth
good
sign.
money for this home. If she's got even a touch of the OCD, she's going to notice when things are out of order. Don't you walk into a room sometimes and you're like, what the fuck is no symmetry here?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't it cause you a little bit of distress? I think if Meri has even a little bit of that, then she's going to notice that. And now is the time before you move in to make sure that the builder makes changes, especially if they got shit wrong. So yeah, if your pendant lights are uneven, fix that shit. Although it's probably just a matter of adjusting the chain and she can do it herself, or she can hire somebody later.
Right.
But if your concrete mantle is not level, that's a problem. I would be doing the exact same thing. However, like before we get to this point, Meri has been holding up the process by not submitting her documents in time, by repeatedly going to the job site and taking her scrapbook pictures and doing all of this nonsense. So to do this now in addition to that,
that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely. She is causing her own problem here. But like I don't fault her for noticing this, but maybe she's a Capricorn.
I was gonna say,
I'm a Taurus.
Such an earth sign
I'm
thing.
just like, get this shit right and paying
so
you,
critical.
bitch.
Well, and she does say that. She's like, we're paying a lot of money for these houses, and that's completely fair and valid. But if you were like nitpicking like the smallest thing, and the builder and your husband and everybody else who's looking at these lights and looking at the mantle and saying, they look fucking fine. Like they don't look not level, like it looks perfectly fine. You can you can put a marble on it and it won't roll off. And Mary's still like, I don't know. It still looks uneven. Then it's like, okay, you're being way too fucking critical. And for what? Like, shut up.
At that point, you have to weigh what it is you want more. Do you want perfection more, or do you want to be able to move into the home with Leon by Christmas more? Like, which one is more important to you?
Exactly.
And I don't think she's thinking in those terms. She just wants to get what she wants to get, and she wants to get that shit right now.
Exactly. And it's pissing Cody off. And I can see why. It's kind of funny because they're both Capricorn. So I'm just like, Cody, shouldn't you be the same way? But he's like the complete opposite. He's so flighty and like not as critical. Well, I guess maybe he is critical. He's
What's
critical
his rising sign?
I don't know.
It's probably Pisces.
Oh God.
That's water. What's an Aries?
Yeah,
sort of
Aries.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What is that sign in the zodiac?
Or Gemini rising.
I was going to say maybe Gemini.
Yeah. Very flighty, airy. Yeah. I can see that. But yeah, this scene drove me nuts because I'm just like, Meri, and the very next scene with Mona, when she comes over to break the news.
You're going to cry about it.
You're going to cry about it. And so Mona comes over and tells everybody, look, some of y'all are getting in before Christmas and one of y'all ain't. And spoiler, it's Meri.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else gets in before Christmas, like I said last week, because I skipped and I saw ahead. Everyone gets in. Janelle's first, which is really awesome. She's super excited about it because her kids were really wanting to get into the houses, and she's like emotional about it, which made me really happy. And then next off is Robyn. And then Christine is last. And then Meri has to wait until after the holidays.
To be determined.
Yep.
Yep.
And then she starts crying, and Cody and Robyn have to comfort her. They're like, no, it's okay. They're there. At least the rest of us can get into our houses.
We can spend Christmas in one of the houses. But Meri, you really did do this to yourself. And,
Yep.
and I'm talking about like what you've done to Leon, because you gave Leon the expectation that everybody would be in the house by Christmas. And so Leon is truly looking forward to this. This is the last year, really, that Leon's going to be there. I mean, I'm sure Leon's going to come back for Christmas and things of that nature. But Meri, you fucked this shit up.
Yep.
And now Leon's going to be heartbroken, and you have nobody to blame but yourself. And so she feels bad for that, I'm sure. And she's a mom and she wants to do the right thing by her kid. But like, you should have turned your paperwork in. Should have been less of a perfectionist.
Yep.
And you should have set the expectations for your child more appropriately. And we actually have Robyn in this episode talk about that, because I talked about this last week.
You
like,
did.
as a mom, I'm not going to even allude to the potential that you're going to get this great thing by this great date if I'm not 100% sure.
Yes.
And Robyn is of the same mind. She does not tell her children they're going to be somewhere if she doesn't know it for sure.
I thought that was interesting that Robyn even made that comment. I wonder if like she had been talking with Meri about it and she was making that comment kind of passive aggressively, like, oh, I would not promise anything to my kids that I can't keep. Like, I'll tell them right when I know for sure it's going to happen, so that way I don't break their hearts. Like, I wonder if it was kind of a little bit of a snide comment to Meri, because Meri was the one that she was promising Leon over and over again, we're going to be in by Christmas. We're going to be in for Christmas. And Leon straight up told Meri, I don't want anything for Christmas except being in the house. And Meri couldn't even deliver that because the fucking lamps above your island were not level, apparently. And you couldn't fix it. I'm just like, I can't. It made me so mad. I'm Leon in this episode. I'm like, fuck you, Mom. Like, that's me.
Yeah, Leon really was doing that, though.
Oh, yeah, so pissed.
Very petulant, yeah.
Super pissed. And then we have kind of an interesting observation from Danny the Builder, where he comments on Cody and his behavior with each of the wives. He's like, yeah, he really is different for each one of them. He says with Janelle, Cody's very serious, not like businesslike, but just very matter of fact, very pragmatic. He says with Christine, he's very jovial, which is interesting. With Meri, he's very accommodating, even though he doesn't always agree with her. And then with Robyn, it's like they're still in the newlywed honeymoon phase and they're just infatuated. So I thought it was interesting that this random fucking guy is totally calling it out with how Cody is with each of the wives. And I'm just like, man, what changed, Cody? You had a balance. You were balancing it out pretty okay in these earlier seasons.
I think he just got tired of showing up differently for each of these women. He just wanted to be himself. And as himself, he only loved one woman, and that was Robyn. And he was tired of hiding it. He was tired of trying to accommodate these other women and what they needed from him. But at this point in 2012 or 2013, season 6, he's still trying.
Yeah.
He's still trying.
He seems like he's doing an okay job.
I think he hates Christine here.
Really?
Yes, because Christine with her dumb outbursts all the time, Christine with her mission statement and taking this family on this huge journey. Like,
yeah,
I just think he does not, and accommodating Meri. So the builder notices he accommodates Meri. That's because there's always some sort of a power struggle between them. And I bet that in their history, Meri has made it very hard for him.
Totally.
And he's had to give in a lot to Meri. And so he's still doing that to this day. But at some point, he was just like, I can't do it anymore with you bitches. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. Except for Janelle. And even in season 19, he's still holding out a little bit of hope for Janelle because he still loves her. And I think he respects Janelle. But of course, he can't play his hand because if Janelle's going to reject him and he's a narc, well, then that's going to bring great shame to him, but he still loves her.
Yeah, or her money. It's like hard for me to tell because
he
even
loves
in
her.
These earlier seasons, I'm like, he seems pretty okay with Christine. I don't think he hates her yet. I think he's probably annoyed with her. I think he hates Meri. I think during these walkthroughs and stuff, like he was getting so fucking tired of Meri and like how critical she was of the house and how she's always changing things. And the fact that the builder says that he's very accommodating to her, it just means that he just really, like you said, gives into everything that she wants because she fights him on everything. And that speaks to what he said about her in season 19. Now, is everything that he said in season 19 fucking nice? Or accurate.
No.
Like, no, it's
Lies.
definitely
Lies.
hyperbolic and lies and a bunch of bullshit, and it's mean-spirited, but at the same time I can understand like the root of the issue,
A
which
kernel
is
of truth.
yeah, like the power struggles and the constant biting heads. I mean, two Capricorns together, dude, sounds terrible, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh God, sounds like a lot. And then we have Janelle and her kids moving into the house early because they got their keys first. They did their walkthrough, and the kids are so excited. They can't wait another night. So they're packing up their bags, and they're going to go sleep on the floor in the new house. And they're all super excited. And Christine, which I loved, is going to cook a giant meal for the entire family in Janelle's new house. And they're also going to celebrate Joseph Smith's dumb birthday for some reason. And then...
Well, they're Mormons. I don't know. Maybe.
It's so weird. Whatever. And then Christine's going to give the kids all a bunch of thoughtful gifts.
Yeah.
And I loved this. This is where Christine shines for me. I'm like, man, that took so much work and so much effort. And she put that together for the entire family just because she wanted everybody to be happy. I loved that.
I thought it was really special. The gifts that she gives to the children, I think it's their names and then an explanation of what their names actually mean. And then on the couch with all of the adults, Cody does talk about how that was such a lovely gesture and that Christine does do things like this. And Christine knew it was really important for him to have all of the children feel like siblings.
Yeah.
And so in that moment for all of the kids to get that gift that really bound them together. And I thought that was a lovely moment.
Yeah.
Christine is just such a nurturer and such a maternal figure. Like it comes so naturally to her. For example, unlike with Janelle, it's not the same. She brings something different to the table, but it's nice to see Christine in her element.
And that's why I think like with Cody, I don't think he hates her in these seasons yet, because I think he holds on to these moments with Christine, because those moments I think are really lovable. Like the rest of the time she's kind of annoying and loud and like dramatic and stuff. But these moments I'm like, man, that's really amazing that you could cook for 1 million fucking people in a day. Like, and she's just so effortless about it. Just fucking chopping celery and cooking tiramisu and like all of these big meals and stuff for everybody and setting it up with all of the tables and everything at Janelle's house. And then also finding time to make all of these gifts with everybody's name. I'm like, man, that's so nice. I don't know. I just really like that. I thought it was really sweet. And then we have a scene with Robyn yelling at her kids, specifically Aurora, to get off her fucking ass and pack her bags to go see her biological dad. And I thought it was interesting because Robyn talks to her kids kind of in a weird way, in my opinion. I don't know. She like... on the camera, she's trying to be kind of nice. Like, yo, why don't you go pack? Aurora, stop playing with baby Saul. But I feel like if the cameras were off, she'd be a total fucking monster. And this is where Robyn's like getting the kids packed because they have to leave at 3 p.m. for some reason for a 16-hour drive up to Montana, which I just think is crazy. But she's really hoping she can get the keys to her house before then so the kids can see the house before they go see their dad. And lo and behold, they do. So then Cody and Robyn get to have their little moment in their house where she is super happy to have her convection ovens and everything.
Yeah, so they have their wonderful moment and it's great. And she immediately wants to get on the road and get up to Montana because they think she's worried about weather. And I'm sure they want to stop along the way and do the whole thing. But as she is getting ready to get back on the road, here comes news that Christine's keys are now available as well. And so Robyn turns it into this sort of sacrifice conversation. Like, yeah, I want to get up out of here and I want to get on the road because it's unsafe.
Yeah.
It's unsafe. But I also need to take care of my sister wife and I need to be here for Christine. And so I really want her to have this moment with Cody where she sees the house. Unfortunately, you know, Christine does come over and they see the house, but her kids aren't there to share that moment with Cody and Christine. It's just them. And then Robyn does walk in and is happy for Christine and is giving hugs to Christine and Cody. But like, you are also invading this moment where, you know, they should be celebrating as a married couple.
Exactly. And it's like all the other wives, like Robyn and Janelle, both got to have like a bit of a moment with Cody, got to walk through the house, got to talk with the kids, got to like experience it and be happy together. But when Christine gets her keys, she gets all emotional and cries. She gets to walk through like the living room. And then that's when Robyn comes in and is like, okay, we got to go now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, congrats, Christine. We got to get on the road. And then they get into that conversation about sacrifices, and it's a balancing act with the wives. And Robyn says something like, you know, you have to balance your needs with your sister wives' needs, and you need to have their back just as much as you wish that they have your back. And it's like, yeah, that's great in theory, but you're still taking the moment away from Christine. And Christine is used to the sacrifices because she was the basement wife, and like, so she'll do it. But you can only do that for so long, and you can only abuse that for so long, Robyn, because now you get to have this weekend with Cody, and all of the other wives and children get to be alone. Like, and I think this is like the weekend before Christmas or something like that.
I'm sure that it's a visitation thing. She's got to take them up for Christmas.
Yeah, and my whole thing is like, this whole visitation thing is so whack because they're leaving at 3 p.m. on probably like a Friday afternoon. I'm like, why are you leaving so late when you're driving up to Montana? It's a 16-hour plus drive. Cody has to drive it because you're going to be a passenger princess and you're not going to do anything. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, you guys are just going to have a getaway
she
weekend.
Was waiting for her keys. She wanted to get the keys. She wanted her kids to see the house before they actually
it's all
left.
about her.
Yeah, it is absolutely all about her. But then, you know, the wrench in the situation is Christine gets her keys as well. But yeah, this is another demonstration of how Christine was, is, and forever will be the basement wife.
Yep. And like, you can see Christine in these moments like being super emotional and a little dramatic, and like how Cody's just so unemotional, totally checked out. And it speaks to like how Christine is now in season 19 with David, how she's so gushy, and like she was just wanting a partner that would be receptive to that and like would be her sounding board and would love her emotionality. And so I'm glad that she finally found it with David, and it makes sense why she was craving it so much and why she was so cringy in season 18 and season 19, because Cody's just like, yep, I love you. Okay, I gotta go. Bye. He doesn't even say I love you when he leaves. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have the preview for next episode. We have Leon pissed the fuck off.
Yeah, Leon is not happy, hoodie. No.
Cody also says he cringes at Meri and Leon's relationship because it seems like it's always about Meri. I don't know. And then he also calls Meri dramatic, I think for the house issue.
Probably, and probably because she set this whole thing in motion with Leon, and Meri definitely didn't need to do that. But it seems like Cody wants to step in that moment and handle Leon, and Meri's just like getting mad.
See? Yeah. It's that power struggle.
Butting heads, yes.
Yep. And then we have Robyn giving her name change gift to Cody for Christmas, and he cries. He's in shock and awe.
Okay, but why? Like, all of your other wives did that as well. Like, their name is Brown too. So like, why is it so special when Robyn does it? Well, we know the answer to that, but like, yeah, here again, we see it.
And it speaks to your point earlier. Like, she was his end all be all soulmate. He loved her and nobody else. And so, yeah, it would be more meaningful for her to change her last name, because her and Cody are not legally married. It's just Meri and Cody at this point. So, yeah, he's like, oh my God.
Right.
I'm choked up. This is so amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to throw up a little bit in my mouth next week, and that's for sure.
Me too.
Really good episode.
Yeah.
Lots of things happening on the surface and underneath that surface, which we call subtext.
Oh, yeah.
And I live.
Me too.
And I love. And I laugh. Well, is there anything else that we need to say to these beautiful raccoons before we get up on out of here, Beatrice?
Well, if you love our podcast, please go to your favorite podcast platform and leave us a glowing 5-star review. It really helps us grow the pod so we can get fatter up in here. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
We will be back later this week to talk to y'all about your thoughts and opinions on the Sister Wives. Until then, please do not forget that we have nothing but love for you, and peace out.
Bye.
Bye, guys.